Esteemed ministers, thank you very much for your presence here today with us. You know that we have just heard the speech of our president and our vice president, and they have highlighted on the importance of direct foreign investment and the importance of YASED. During our panel, we will discuss about also the importance of foreign direct investment. We work on daily basis and we have a tight collaboration with your ministry. Thank you very much for your collaboration. Recently, we know that we have a lot of collaboration during the recent period. We have had some meetings together, and with the new reform, and we have also held other meetings with the business world. We talked about the steps in order to increase the foreign direct investment in Turkey. What are your thoughts on these issues? We can start with our Minister of Trade, Ruhsar PEKCAN. The floor is yours. Thank you very much, Ms. Ayşem. We know that we tightly work together also within our advisory council, which is a very effective, hard-working council, especially during the pandemic. During this period, we have had a lot of consultation meetings, and we have also mentioned the measures that we need to take in order to respond to pandemic. And we have also talked about the transformation and changing the role of Turkey in the value chain during the post-pandemic. Undoubtedly, Turkey has always been an attraction center for FDI. Our minister will also talk about this issue, especially after 2002. We have had a lot of increase in FDI between 1984 and 2002, our FDI was $14.6 billion, and between 2002 and 2020, it was $222.5 billion. So it is very important FDI for us, and it is also important to improve FDI within our countries. There are some important issues like legislative predictability, transparency, easy access to public services. We have actively worked on these issues. So once all these agreements are put into force, we will work with the other ministries in order to ease this process. Improving investment environment is also our priority. And we hope that YASED will assume an active role in this process in order to attract FDI. And also, as ministry, we will always support you within this work. Thank you very much, Ms. PEKCAN. We have always tightly worked together, and we will keep our works together. Thank you very much for this speech. And I want to give the floor to our Minister of Industry, Mustafa VARANK. I would like to hear about your evaluations regarding the recent developments.
Thank you, Mrs. Sargin. As you know, the macroeconomic stability and increased predictability, as well as reduced risk and uncertainty created by Justice and Development Party government, have led to increased business confidence in Turkey. Both domestic and foreign investors have strengthened their investments in our country. Before 2002, the levels of FDI in Turkey were very low, but in the last 18 years, as indicated by the minister, have reached the level of $222.5 billion. We have seen years where the FDI entry per year has reached $22 billion, but unfortunately our performance in the recent years is below the desired level. The projections suggest that due to the effect of the pandemic, the FDI across the world may drop by 40% across the world. This drop may continue in 2021, depending on the evolution of the pandemic, but of course, efforts towards the development of a vaccine and various medication may change the evolution, but you must see the following fact. In fact, on the global investment side, there is a huge level of delayed demand. Global brands are trying to diversify their manufacturing centers, and they are also seeking partners which may strengthen their competitive edge and with whom they may collaborate in harmony. So from such a perspective, we see that there are huge opportunities lying before us. As you know, in our economy management, we have initiated a new period. We will be utilizing our three-pronged mechanism in a much more efficient manner. I'm talking about the Ministries of Treasury and Finance, of Trade, and of Industry and Technology, which have now joined forces fully. We will never compromise from the principles of the free market economy. We will try to pursue transparent and predictable policies with a special focus on macroeconomic stability. We have lent an ear to all the parties in order to formulate legal and economic reforms, which we will soon be implementing. And undoubtedly, all of these measures will quickly strengthen the business confidence towards Turkey. I would like to share with you a very recent piece of information. In the recent period, Turkey has taken a very large share of capital flows towards emerging economies. An analysis of international portfolio flow suggests that Turkey has attracted a significant amount of capital through both stocks and bonds in recent years. This is a very positive development, and there is no reason why we shouldn't see a similar trend on the FDI side. So I think we should seize opportunities in the best manner, and I think that we should try to attract more high value-added investments to our country. To this end, we've been collaborating with the Investment Office of the Presidency of Turkey to draft Turkey's very first FDI strategy. And while drafting this strategy document, we have operated various consultation mechanisms in order to ensure a comprehensive and inclusive approach. We are keeping a close watch on the global trends, on our strengths in Turkey, as well as the top caliber investments that we require here in Turkey. Now, we've brought these efforts to the final stage, and we hope to finalize our efforts at the end of December and publish in the beginning of 2020 our FDI strategy.
Esteemed Minister, I'm very pleased to hear this news, and we will always contribute to this work within our UIC platform. I totally agree. We are celebrating the 40th year of YASED, and our experience has shown that investors have gradually expanded their investment and their trust on Turkey, and it is a very important step during this crucial period. It is very crucial to have this reform today, and on the following days we will also contribute to this process, and we would like to remember this transformation with the opportunities that it brings. At that very point, I would like to give the floor to you, esteemed Minister. During your term of office, your priority has been developing high value-added technological investments and especially increasing these investments in Turkey. We know that you focus on policies and implementations with regard to creating a leverage in our industry. So, what do you think about the contribution of multinationals? Can you also link all these contributions to digital transformation and entrepreneurial ecosystem?
Thank you, Mrs. Sargin. Of course, in order to achieve sustainable and well-balanced growth, we must make sure that we conduct a structural transformation to bring about higher domestic value added. To this end, we've started to implement comprehensive policies in order to accelerate the technological and digital transformation capabilities of our industry. We want to strengthen our entrepreneurship ecosystem. Obviously, we are open to seizing all the opportunities provided by global collaboration, and of course we are doing so. We don't make any distinctions between domestic and foreign investors who invest in our nation. We are offering them the same opportunities. At the center of our industry and technology policies, we have innovation, digital transformation, entrepreneurship, human capital, and infrastructure issues. And all these components are the object of our various policies. And I think that global companies may play the role of accelerators in all of these areas. As you know, FDI plays a very crucial role in granting competitive edge, offering employment, and a stronger R&D ecosystem in the target countries. The global companies who plan on greenfield or brownfield investments in our countries are very important, and we expect them to make use of our very strong supplier base. When global companies place orders with startups and utilize them as technology providers, I think both parties make considerable gains. Of course, the entrepreneurship side of the issue is very important. In my speeches, I always underline the importance of this matter. In our entrepreneurship ecosystem, one of the major problems is access to finance. In order to eliminate this problem, we have started to set up venture capital funds, and we invite global companies to invest in these funds and thereby add competitive edge to startups and to scale-ups. Another issue of import is, of course, digital transformation, as you have mentioned. In order to ensure the digital transformation of the industry and to encourage lean production, we've been setting up modern factories, and we've been introducing various incentive schemes to support our SMEs. Actually, we expect global companies to transfer their technological competencies, their R&D and innovation capabilities to our country. As you know, during the pandemic, the Turkish industry has proven its strength, and we've shown how we can come up with innovative solutions in such challenging times. I think that these solutions can be taken to the next level through global collaboration. Turkey may, of course, come up with state-of-the-art technologies and innovations for the entire world. We must seize this window of opportunity, in my view. In this period, the policies formulated by Turkey can bring about much more positive results.
Esteemed Minister, I totally agree. Digital economy will be very important in the following days, and transformation is very important, and it is important to have the infrastructure in order to use the opportunities that we can have in the future. And therefore, we have had a lot of work on infrastructure for the investment. And we know that there is infrastructure. There is a ready infrastructure to be used by the investors, and we will be able to use all this infrastructure in the future. And we will be very successful during the upcoming period. Now, I want to continue with our Minister of Trade, Ruhsar PEKCAN. This is a kind of a complementary question on what we have said before. You know that multinationals, they also improve the exportation environment of Turkey. And according to our statistics, it is shown that 50% of exportation of Turkey is done by ISO 500 companies that are under YASED. And therefore, it is very important to mention that this is a very important attraction center for the investors, and trade agreements are very important. And you also work a lot on these agreements and on this environment for investment. So, what do you think about the contribution of multinationals in order to have a high value added exportation environment, and how can we collaborate with FDI? And there are also two important issues: digital transformation and entrepreneurship. I would like to also ask for your opinions on these issues. Of course, I would like to mention about some opportunities that we have as a country. Our dynamic economy, growing economy, 83 million of population, educated young population, infrastructure which is ready for digital transformation, educated young population, proximity to consumption centers, and also our location between important energy corridors. All these are very important issues for our economy, and also EU quality production that we have, our entrepreneurial structure, they also have contribution. So this is an attraction for FDI within this framework, especially our proximity to consumption centers, our location between energy corridors, our education population, our digitalization, and also our youth, which are very familiarized with the digital. And we also have a platform, an e-platform on this. In 2019, our trade volume was $136 million, and the assumptions were $83 million. And then during the first 6 months, it was 91.7, which indicates 64% of increase. And as ministry, for us, it's very important issue, digital transformation, and we want to invest on digital transformation in terms of education, in terms of other infrastructure, and we would like to contribute to this transformation with our services. And also, Virtual Trade Academy was also in our agenda during the pandemic, and a lot of entrepreneurs took the advantage of that during the pandemic. We also had campaigns on e-commerce saying that we support them, and we have a lot of contribution. We supported 3,700 small, medium-sized enterprises, and we also created 7,000 employment, and there have been a support of 1.7 million Turkish liras. And when we did all this work, we also worked on our exportation support, and we are working on diversification of these works and all this support. In October, we also worked on consultation groups on trade, virtual fairs, and other virtual events. And also, we had supported them for memberships. We organized 7 virtual fairs, received 51,000 participants in 46 different countries. We organized 35 delegations and organized 5,500 B2Bs. All these things show us that we are ready for digital transformation. And we are now, as Ministry of Trade, also supporting the exportation of high value added products and we provide support for each phase. During the preparation period in marketing and design, from global supply chains to design, we offer this support. Recently, we have started a project called First Step to Exportation. In 81 cities, we have seen that 11,400 companies in 70 different cities have important potential for becoming exporters. It shows that 81 cities have strong potential for FDI. It means that not only in specific centers, in the whole Turkish territory, there is a potential for production, investment, and exportation. We will offer mentoring services to these potential companies during the upcoming period. We have selected 5 pilot cities, and we will keep developing this project. And within digitalization, we have developed Easy Trade platform, and it is a platform for many companies, from big companies to small and medium-sized enterprises. This platform analyzes specific sectors and products in specific countries, and it shares all this detailed information with our exporters. And also, in collaboration with Ministry of Industry, we have another project. I would like to talk about that. As you all know, when we have a look at the countries that have technological investment, production, and exportation, they mostly invest on specialized free zones. And the investment in these zones also contribute to exportation and also to the growth of that country. And we also see that there is a 65% of investment in our own free zones, which means $7.5 billion of direct foreign investment, and in our specialized free zones, we are planning to focus on technological investments and exportation. We will provide support to these zones in terms of employment, rent, interest and profit loss, and especially in IT sectors, we will provide social premium support. You already know about our support on global supply chain. We support our companies in order to include them into the global supply chain. In each phase, we support them, including certification, consultation, and more. There is a lot of potential for exportation. We only need investors. We also hope that, distinguished Minister, I remember our first meeting and that you talked about the efforts of Ministry on digitalization. We noted down everything that you said that day. Nevertheless, during the pandemic, we maintained the continuity of trade thanks to this previous work. I would like to thank you for all this work on behalf of the investors. As mentioned by our Minister of Industry and Technology, trade continuity is crucial for us. Especially digitalization is highlighted, and we have understood how important this is during COVID-19, as trade was not interrupted during that period. As our Minister of Industry and Technology mentioned, in industry and technology, there were no disruptions in our industry as well. This was an important step for Turkey in terms of global supply chain. Our aim is to name Turkey as a secure country for production and supply within the global supply chain. Both ministers put a lot of effort on this issue and initiated a lot of valuable work. Now, with your permission, I would like to give the floor to our Minister of Industry and Technology with regard to the upcoming period. You already briefly mentioned about this, about converting especially Turkey into an innovation center. We are going through a period of digital transformation. This is also your priority as a Ministry of Industry. What kind of cooperations can we have with the international investment? Are there any plans with regard to this during the upcoming period? Maybe We can start with incentives, and then we can also talk about the issue of digitalization. This is a very broad topic, I know, from infrastructure to regulations and adaptation to the international regulations. There are multiple steps that we need to take. What do you think about this topic, Mr. Minister?
Thank you once again. This is a critical question. As you know, we plan on becoming a country which doesn't only utilize technology, but also creates and even exports new technologies. That's our objective. And in this sense, we think that by capitalizing on the interdependence between countries, we can utilize a win-win strategy. Global firms with high technologies can make a huge contribution to the Turkish ecosystem, especially by enhancing the capabilities of our supplier companies. Of course, this situation will have a very positive effect on the infrastructure of our suppliers and also contribute to our objective of becoming a global innovation hub. In the field of innovation and competitiveness, we think that we offer capabilities which are way beyond those offered by our rivals. In brief, first of all, I would like to mention our young and dynamic workforce. This sector of the population is encouraged to focus on science and research. We are devising various policies to this end. We are trying to raise the awareness of our younger generations. We are also trying to attract back to Turkey our prominent scientists overseas. We are supporting innovative activities, especially through our program dubbed the Pioneer R&D Labs Sport Program. This has been especially successful. With this program, we plan to offer support to global companies who are leaders in their fields in terms of innovation, especially to their R&D labs. In addition, we want to collaborate with global technology giants. For example, with IBM, we've been working on an artificial intelligence program in the fields of chemistry and railway. We think that such collaborations will enhance the capabilities of our workforce and open the way to new foreign direct investments in our country. Turkey, with its strong infrastructure and constantly evolving economy, is set to become a global innovation hub in the coming period. As you know, we have discussed these issues with you as well in various meetings. Especially, we think that the R&D investments of global companies in Turkey are very important, and we want to support these investments through our incentive schemes. We're also carrying out the impact assessment of our existing schemes. For example, the Pioneer R&D Lab Support Program has yielded very positive results, but we don't want to encourage only investments, but also R&D efforts, which may add more added value to these investments. And we are devising various programs to this end, and we hope to integrate these elements to our FDI strategy and share it with the general public.
Thank you, esteemed Minister. We are at the age of an important transformation. There are, of course, opportunities, and if we are prepared, we can take the advantage of these opportunities in terms of research and development, investments, and in the global supply chain. We can be more attractive. I would also ask a question to our Minister of Trade. Pandemic is important, but it's not the only important issue. Ministry is working hard on many different areas, and one of the priorities is EU Green Deal. We know that you have a lot of preparations within the ministry, and within this issue, what do you think about the environmental impact of these investments, and what are your ongoing projects with regard to this? Yes, Ms. Ayşem, we have recently held 18th Consultancy Board, and I would like to give you some information on this. We have worked on the steps with regard to the updates within European Union and work division between us. We also worked on the steps to be taken post-Brexit. We have collaborated with our NGOs. During the pandemic, we worked on the problems and the measures that we can take. We also questioned about the roles of Turkey within the globe during the post-pandemic transformation. We have also talked about the improvement of trade between USA and Turkey, and also about the improvement of the investment environment in Turkey, all the steps that we can take. And fortunately, with the leadership of our president and in coordination with all our ministries, we have done a lot of efficient work. One of the most important issues is, of course, EU Green Deal agreement. Since the release of this agreement, as Ministry of Trade, we established a working group on this. And we held some meetings with the vice ministers of the relevant ministries. We included private sector in this work. There is an ongoing work with regard to the necessary steps to be taken, and we carry out this work together with the assistance of the relevant ministers. In this field, Turkey needs FDI. Ministry is planning to allocate an amount of 1 trillion euros for the energy-related sectors, on FDI, on transfer of technology, and the implementation of EU Green Deal within the upcoming 10 years. It is important to have access to these economic resources. This is also important for us. The steps to be taken by OECD countries, EU, developing countries is also important. In order to apply carbon border regulation, this regulation should not be perceived as protectionism of trade and should not be implemented as such. Within this framework, working in coordination with the ministries and private sector is also important for us. Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Minister. I have asked all my questions, and with your permission, I would like to make my last comments. A couple of years ago, we held a meeting with our President Erdogan, and we have highlighted the most important messages with regard to the importance of the contribution of international investment to Turkey. As our two ministers also mentioned in this panel, stability, economic and regulatory reforms are indeed indispensable for the investors. In spite of the unpredictability caused by the consequences of this period, the investors will focus on specific areas where they can see predictability. Highlighting this fact was important for us. For this reason, I would like to thank to you for all your efforts. And there is a lot more work to do beyond this. Whole world has a lot to do more during the next period. We will have an accelerated version of the feature. With respect to this, we closely know about your work and about your efforts. It is an important advantage for us, seeing all the steps that you have taken within this frame. If we can convert all these plans into real action, if we can take the necessary measures to provide trust for the investors, if we can make all this transformation possible, Turkey will be one of the most successful countries with a growing economy during the upcoming period. We will keep working hard to achieve this, and as YASED, we will always support you during this journey. Thank you very much for your participation. Thank you.
I would like to thank you both. I hope that the meeting will be very fruitful for all parties, and I hope that the results of this meeting make a very positive contribution to the global economy and, of course, to the Turkish economy. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Mr. Minister. Thank you.